I made Warapon as a co-host as well, in case you see anyone entering, waiting, then you can accept as well. Yeah, okay. Right. So, okay. So I think we have to start. So we will not waste our time. And whoever coming to join, then they can come on their own time. Okay. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining this monthly meditation. And I hope that you've been practicing every day. And with that, you have understood some form of meditation. Yeah. What about Chang? I haven't seen you before, so would you mind to introduce yourself a little bit?
So I was supposed to join you last time, but I missed the beginning. So this would be my first time joining the group here.
Okay. What about anyone new here? No, yeah, everyone. Okay.
Queen is new.
Okay, can you introduce where you're from and how you come to be in our group?
I know from people and Chang, of course, he's my friend, and Chang is friend of people. Therefore, I came into this class, and yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you for coming and join with us. Okay. So this is our, in a way, monthly catch-up meditation. And checking that whether you've been practicing or not. Make sure that you do practice as well. Right. So today I'm thinking of doing, since we have a limited number, we will not be having divided groups to discuss. So after the meditation, after talk and a meditation, I would invite you all to share on this shared screen rather than break up groups. Okay, and then with that we will again do another short meditation, and we'll have a question answer and finished for today. Okay. So first of all, let me give you a background and a little bit of what we're going to do for the day. Okay. So we all know that meditation is helping us to be connected within ourselves. And these days, people very concerned about physical well-being. So as a result of that, they will go to the gym and they will go to the mountains and walking and hiking. And even today, members of our community, led by one of the monks, about 10 people went for a hiking early morning. They left the center about an hour ago. About 10 people, yeah, so went to hiking, and that's simply to keep the body fit. And also, not only that, the people become very conscious about healthy eating. So keep healthy. So in the meantime, and whenever there is a lumps of meat coming out, and then we think, oh, I've been eating a fat thing. I need to be more conscious, or maybe turn to the vegetables. eat vegetables more and becoming a vegetarian. That may help to keep my body fit and slim. Uh, and with that, we become very conscious about eating, what we eat and what we um, do the exercises in our day-to-day life. And this is for the healthy eating, right? Healthy body. Even eating, we eat a couple of times a day just to keep the body fit. The mind is very different one. Mind is very different. Sometimes we think that we are not feeding our mind, but we are feeding our mind constantly from the day when we woke up. Yeah. And start to thinking about the jobs that I need to do, the works that needs to be finished, or deadlines for the workloads and that things. So intentionally and unintentionally, we are feeding our mind. And we very, in a way, we are not conscious about how much polluting our mind with the so many negativities. Day and night, in a very moment when we woke up, we start to think about the negativities more than the positive. We more complain about things, about weather, about work, about the sleep, about so many things, and constantly bombarded with the negativities in us. And as a result, it's becoming more and more miserable. Now you can ask yourself, now from the day when you woke up, which kind of a thought occupies your brain most of the time, between positive and negative. Yeah? And a majority of us will be thinking negative. And that negative, again, we do know that is not helpful at all. And that negative, we always want to let it go. That negative, we always want to take it away from our brain and wish to have positivities in us. But we spend much time thinking about the negative. We spend very little on the positive things. And as a result, our mind becomes not healthy at all. Not healthy at all. We want to have a positive, but we do not want to appreciate even the small things that we have done, which is quite good, feel good. But we want to complain about minor things that is not correct, and make it a big story. And with that, that is not making ourselves annoyed, ourselves stressed, but also the surrounding people. But not only the surrounding people, the whole family sometimes becomes stressed. And then that again extend it into the other related families or neighbors, or maybe you're calling to the calling over your families and far distance and making them upset too. So that sort of a negativities we are always bringing to ourselves. So practice of a meditation is basically like an exercise for the body, that we go to the gym or go to the walk and go for walkings in the mountains. For the mind, we are basically not doing such visible activities, but we are sitting comfortably in one place and watching this mind. So very opposite way of looking, exercise. Physical body needs active involvement, whereas meditation is passive, just sitting and watching. And sometimes people think that sitting and sitting quietly doesn't make any difference, and don't see the benefit of it. In fact, when we sit quietly, it's happening a lot, and a lot. And even we talk more when we are silent than when virtually speaking. Yeah, you may have seen that. When you're speaking, there is a limitation of the words, limitation of the sentences that you can express. But when you are thinking inside, oh, that's a whole mountain of thoughts going on. And then there's a chain of the thoughts just builds up and builds up. And with that, unable to see that, unable to notice that makes more annoyed, right? So practice of a meditation is basically understanding this silent moment in this present moment and how we can change this rubbish of thinking of negativities to a compost so we can use it in our garden, and whatever we plant, it will flourish and beautiful garden will transform from that rubbish, right? So this is our life. We have a choice to make these thoughts into compost, or these thoughts making rubbish more and more and become stingy, and life become miserable, right? So practice of a meditation is to transform those negativities or those rubbish into the compost, and then making our life much, much better and much happier, more enjoyable. Okay. And the practice of the meditation, and as I have instructed previously, it's not that difficult. The difficult is continuation. Practice is not that difficult, and instructions are not hard to follow, but the continuation of that practice is the hard. And that's why mindfulness meditation is basically means remembering to continue practicing, right? So remembering to continue practicing. And continuous practice is the key for the success. Continuous practice is the key for the success. And that success is not like, you will be lifted, or you will be able to levitate, or you become a superhero, or you will be a different person than somebody else. But basically, you become a normal, down to earth, but ability to understand things as they truly are, the way it is, and rather than taking those into your minds and hearts and making a miserable stories, even the positive, that transform into the negative and the garbage. But basically understanding of that, and then ability to keep calm and going, ability to understand, ability to realize the true nature of it. So that's why in the practice of the meditation, we always begin with the basics of relaxation, relax the body and the mind, and the mind just simply be connected with the moment here and now. And then with this connection, again, making sure that your mind is free from the distractions. But when you practice, you will be realizing that it is never been freed. There will be always something coming up. And in that moment, you all need to think is the stop. Yeah? The very moment when you know how to stop, you have arrived. One of the very famous meditation master where I was in Thailand, he taught that. The moment when you know how to stop, you have arrived. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah? Short, but very profound. And then from there, I extend stop as an acronym. Stop, S for seeing as they are. If your mind is having a negativity, then see it clearly that I am having this negativity. And then do not rush to see it. Do not rush to realize it. Take your time. So T for take your time. Take your time to realize and ponder and understand that distraction or that negative thoughts. And then O is observing that what's going on, how it is forming, how it is affecting. So observing objectively an object, but do not take it as a subjective. So objectively looking at it. So when we look at it objectively, it is not affecting us. And this again is very, very important and part of the practice of meditation. Anything that happens, we are observing objectively. And a P, we need a lot of patience. A lot of patience to realize that. And this patience is not just the realizing that, but also all the other things. And with this very moment, what happens is you will be able to stop there. You are pausing everything at that moment. And then the wisdom just arises that, now I know this is happening. I know this is happening. And then we'll be able to let it go. Okay? So remember to stop. Okay? And with this, let's practice. Okay? So sitting comfortably, okay? With hearing the gong, okay? You can sit comfortably and sitting upright position if possible. Eyes are closed and practice, okay? So sitting comfortably and bring your attention to be mindful of your body sitting here. Aware of the entire body, where you are sitting. When you are aware of your entire body, sensing, feeling the sensations that arises due to the breathing in and breathing out. Rather than focusing on a breath, feeling the sensations as it takes place due to the breathing in and breathing out. Gently bring your attention to the breath now. Feeling from inside the incoming breath and outgoing breath rather than locating any one particular place. And the next is experiencing as breathe in, the entire body inflates, and as you breathe out, entire body deflates. Remember, you are not making it to happen. You're simply watching like a river flow. You're sitting at the bank of the river and watching the river flow. Nothing to do with the river at all. Similarly, your job is to watch the breath and observing the inflation and deflation of the entire body. But you're not making it. No interference with it at all. And this time, observing the way it is functioning, rising, falling of the entire body. The inflation and deflation of body never be the same. And whenever it is taking place with a clear consciousness, you're making mental note that I understand this is happening. I understand that breathing in, I know breathing in. I understand breathing out, I know breathing out. So consciously making a mental note of it. And you may realize that unintentionally, sometimes you are controlling the breath, interfering with the breath. Just take away that effort, take away that action. And this natural breath. Now you realize this time that all the senses are closed, but inside we are talking so much. And we are narrowing down to have single object. When it is taking place, we become mindful of that. As it is functioning, we become mindful of that. So keep engaging that with that activities, and it minimizes the thought process. Mind become only one with the object. Now you can try to notice that each incoming breath and outgoing breath are different. And this inflation and deflation also different. Sometimes it's a longer, other time it is shorter. The length of incoming breath and outgoing breath are not same. It's always changing. And that also causes the inflation and deflation of the entire body. And you train to notice that and mentally making a note of it. Sometimes you may feel hard, other time you may feel softness as you're breathing in and breathing out. Sometimes inflation can be a very stiffness, other time it's so smooth. So training your mind to be aware of that and recognizing it. And if you're mindful enough in this between, a transition from rising to falling or incoming to outgoing, there is a gap. Normally, our mind tends to think of something else. Lost into the thoughts or bringing the memories. In that case, remember to stop. So breathing in and breathing out. An inflation of the entire body and deflation of the entire body. Training yourself to know the difference. And aware of different feelings of it. Stiffness, hardness, softness, lightness, as you breathe in and breathe out. And consciously making a mental note of them as you experience. And whenever your mind drifts away into the thoughts, with your consciousness, clear consciousness, making a mental note that this is happening. I understand this is happening, or just perceiving it as they are. When you are watching in these ways and seeing these little phenomena are taking place, you won't forget it anymore in the future. A vision has arisen in you. There's little phenomena that is taking place. And you can extend it into the entire cosmos, that these are like this. It's a vision of a reality pertaining to it as they are. Because we are not making it to happen in this way or that way. We are observing, knowing and seeing the way it is taking place. So breathing in and breathing out. Now remember, this moment any negativities arises, then stop and transform it into the positive. Or you may think of anyone who annoyed you or angered you or disappointed you, rather than taking their action, their speech. Think of good things that that person has done. Think of a good sides of that person. Sending a kindness and compassion. Because we want to be positive. We want to be kind and compassionate. So we spend much time extending that, remembering that. In other ways, transforming every garbage into the compost. Do not convert the compost into the garbage bin. It's our choice. We can make it or break it. So breathing in and breathing out. We're basically knowing what's going on. Aware of what's going on. Not outside, but inside within us. And how much clutter is going on, how much talking is going on. And we're simply stopping that by having the natural object, the phenomena that's happening, and being mindful of that. So every time when we are distracted, simply remember to stop and then bring it back. So breathing in and breathing out. So breathing in, experiencing the entire body inflates. Breathing out, experiencing the entire body deflates. Aware of the phenomena that takes place. Different breaths, different rising, falling. Different aspects of it. Stiffness, lightness, softness, hardness as it happens. Now bring your attention to feel the entire body and bring your attention to your eyes. And as you hear the gong, on the third gong, slowly coming out from meditation. Okay, so First of all, I forgot to record, but it's on Facebook. Okay. Can you hear me? Right. Okay. Now this is time for the sharing. Okay.
I think he has frozen, hasn't he?
It's like a freeze.
Yeah.
Frozen. Let's see.
We cannot hear him anymore.
No,
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. My computer is just shut down. I'm using my mobile phone.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So this is time for the sharing. Okay. Who's want to go? So we have 8 members. So who wants to go first? Okay, Chang.
Yeah, I was thinking of so many things actually, and I could feel the tension on my shoulder, right? And then I tried to stop and bring back according to your voice, right? Like just sit and watch, you know. So I bring it back to my breath. Some is longer, some is shorter, the difference of the breath. But then again, I was thinking about work, about job, about many things, you know, what I have to do to prepare myself for tomorrow, or what do we do this afternoon? Where should we go for hiking? So, and then bring it back again. I mean, once I realized that I'm thinking about something else, and then, you know, even I try to stop, but still my mind keep changing the subject. You know, when I'm thinking about, you know, where should I go this afternoon? So I stop and then bring it back to the breath. And then again, I'm thinking about work, and then I bring back. So it happens, you know, in a different subject during this period.
Okay. But you managed to come back after hearing the instruction.
Exactly. So when you keep talking and then you keep reminding that, okay, you know, stop and bring back. So I try to bring myself back to my breath again, to the moment. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, continue practicing. As I said, you know, when we stop talking, we think too much. We talk too much.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Anyone else? Emma, you wanna go?
Yeah, sure. So that was a really great meditation. I really enjoyed very much. Yes, there was some coming and going, but not too much this time anyway. I think for me, what was really the most amazing thing about this meditation was that I really realized that quite often when I'm meditating, I am influencing and I am involved in the breathing, and and it's almost a creation. I'm not simply observing. I'm actually involved and making the breath a certain way, and I was really playing around with that, really trying very hard not to do, actually step back and step out and just truly become the observer. And what you said about sitting on the edge of the river and watching it go by, and that was really, really very helpful.
Yeah, this is normally happens. Like normally people practice breathing meditation, they control the breath and making that breath into shorter, longer, and playing with that. And there is a benefit of doing that, but we are not playing with it. We are learning, we're training our mind. And that's, as you said, it's a creation. You are creating. Whereas a practice of meditation should be, these are the objects. So with that, we are helping our muscles of minds to develop. So, yeah, good.
Yeah, and this is obviously quite a somewhat subtle thing to realize, and so being with the thoughts and being relatively quiet, it was easier to see this involvement in this creation going on. So it was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and oftentimes when we are practicing, sometimes what happens is unknowingly, unintentionally, we are involving that, interfering with this process too. That's why I mentioned today that when you realize that you are involving in that, just take away that effort away. Do not involve and just let it flow naturally. And that's how we're sharpening our mind. So, yeah. Thank you. Janine?
Yes. Well, I have not meditated the whole month. I'm very sorry. And I know it's bad. Because I have so much workload at the moment. And every time I sit down, I just think about my workload, or I am just sitting there like a vegetable on my cushion and wait until the time is over and I can go to bed. So it has been so frustrating. And now too, in a way, normally when there is the guided meditation with you, it takes me a little time, but I'm quicker to be on breath and everything. And this time it was just like, I'm sorry, it was just like noise. So it took me a long time, but finally I got into it. And I mean, you are right on the topic as usual of what is in my mind, because I know that every time I indulge on not meditating, it will be easier to indulge the next time, and also that this period will be more easy for me if I do at least 5 minutes every day, even if it is frustrating and I just watch the clutter in my head going on. And that I'm too much complaining also, because I think every time I think, well, at least you have work, at least you are still breathing, not like other people. But I'm just like, oh God, I want it to be over. So you give me, probably, I hope you give me the kick to get through the next weeks with meditation.
Good. Yeah.
Well,
it's okay. At least you have understood that you haven't done meditation. The realization is important. And every one of us has got this form of busyness of this and doing that, and unable to spend time in a meditation. This is very common, not only you. Yeah, and it's a matter of how we organize our time and how much we are aware of this importance of the meditation. Yeah. So
Yes,
yeah.
no, and I have already been there, but I have. It's been a while since it had been so cluttered in my mind.
Yeah. So
So
with meditation,
it's very
hopefully it can come up.
yeah.
Okay. So thank you. Who wants to go first, Georgia, or are you still here?
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's a little bit the same as everybody else, you know, trying to bring the mind back from wherever it wants to go. And then I was really, you know, I was trying to rationalize why it wants to go all the time somewhere else. Yeah, so, you know, but even if I manage to do it for even 2 minutes, it is really, yeah, it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, so this is normally the case of when we are not aware of our own mind and not trained to watch it. In fact, in a day-to-day life, we are always feeding our mind constantly. And it's been with this process for so many times, so many years. And probably the day when we began to walk or began to talk, we always want to feed our desire at all the time, never satisfied with that desire. And suddenly when we come to meditate, and it's very boring object, watching the breath, this is not what you want to do. Do something else exciting. And want to be excited. So that's why we have principles called the hindrances that hinder our practice. And that hindrances is called essential pleasure. We always want to find the pleasure by seeing, by hearing, by comforting our body, basically entertainment. And we tend to go onto the entertainments most of the time. And that entertainment we think is the happiness, and we indulge with that. And we always want to have it, but that is impermanent. And we have to move on to something else like that. So that's why it's constantly, wanting to go somewhere else, never satisfied with one thing that we do. And that is the one of the root cause of it. And other times again, ill will. Why this person is doing to me? Why that person is doing this to me? These thoughts will pop in, and then takes away our comfort, and our peace. And other times, just doubt. Why I am doing this meditation? I don't need this. I have house to live. I have business to run. I have income enough sufficient. I am happy. And why do I need this meditation? And I wish I can go for a hiking and a biking and walking and like that. So that also another form of hindrances as well, and that hinder. And with that, the mind will always tend to go somewhere else. And in this case, that's why we basically, accumulating more clutters that we think is happiness, but moment later or days after, we feel miserable with that. And basically, practice of a meditation is to understand that a mind's never satisfied with things, always looking for something, always wanting new things, and always replacing one after another, thinking that that brings happiness and satisfaction, like that. So ability to see that and then make peace with it. And then rather than letting this mind just wander as it wanders like a wild animal, we are taming it. We are taking control over this mind and defining what need and what wants. An ability to limit it So we have basically control over this mind, and we can take control over it. So that's why this is the practice. And obviously it takes time, and gradually as you develop, and gradually you will be able to see these changes in you, and never think that this is going to happen overnight. It takes a long time. For me, myself, I've been practicing for over 20 years and still get angry, still get frustration. And still think that there's so many jobs to be done, because I am an abbot here. Like, we wake up, 6 o'clock, we start meditating for an hour, and after that chanting, and then again another half an hour meditation, and then teaching. After 1 hour break, I have a teaching, and after teaching, again talking, welcoming members for the ceremonies, and then after lunch again 3 hours of working hard, and then back to again teaching for another 2 hours. By the time I have a time is like after 9 o'clock in the evening, and yet this is like sometimes very tiring and don't want to meditate, and yet I spend time like, okay, this is my time to meditate, this is my time to chanting, and then try not to miss that. And with this, it's always giving me strength and always recharging this spiritual journey. And sometimes when I meditate, I sleep on a meditation because of the fatigue, the tiredness of the body. And again, that, probably 10-15 minutes of a sleep is like a whole night's sleep. So zoned in, so relaxed, like that. So that's why it's a routine that we make, and doesn't matter how many works you have, it's always reinforce us. And then that time is like, okay, this is time for my mind to settle, my mind to relax. And during that time, at least, no other jobs to do. So just working with this mind. And sometimes, like, I'm just pondering on the job, the works that need to be done. While throughout the meditation, 1 hour meditation, sometimes it's just one work, thinking about one work. But at least I know that I'm thinking and coming back to the breath again and again, and going back to the job, coming back. So it's like a pulling and pushing game going on at all the time. But end of the day, when the 1 hour gone, you feel like refreshed. And sometimes you got insight over this topic, the job, like that. So it's a matter of continuation. And then you will be able to know that, okay, this is happening, and now it's time to bring it back. So wandering mind is not the problem. Not knowing is the problem. Okay, when we know, then everything begins. So that's why mindfulness meditation is to remember to notice those things, knowing that things. Meditation is not shutting our mind down, but knowing how mind works. Okay. Right. Thank you. Who? Virapon? Who wants? Virapon? Anyone?
So, Virapon or Varapon?
Oh, okay. You can go first.
Okay, so I'm able to see or to watch my mind. So when I sit down and close and follow your instruction, it's good exercise, and I can see all my background because I hear my daughter running. I can hear all the steps of my daughter, run, walk, speak. So, but I notice, and I can see that is the mind is working to go, try to follow what I hear. So then I notice I'm just hearing. I'm not force anything. But then I just hear it. I'm not judging. It's feel another layer, another partition.
Yeah.
And then automatically it's going to my abdomen, rising and falling slowly, like a slow motion. But it's before going to that, it's going to the breath in, breathe out, and automatically to the abdomen, which is the objects from external objects that try to disturb me is not impact to me at all. So it's just like a games that, okay, I hear all the time because they are running all the time, walking all the time, speaking all the time, but I cannot stop the external objects, which is I realize that I'm doing meditation, I'm sitting and breathing, and I noting what I hearing. And then also is I just see the abdomen clearly rising and falling even more clearly. So it's nothing disturbed, nothing judgment, no judgment. It's not be angry, it's not frustrated. It just be there do some job, doing something. It's funny, but it happened because I closed my eye, I think. But when I wake up or open my eye, it's another story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Good. At least you become more aware of coming back to the present moment within the body, which is quite good. So there's like a breath coming in and going out, rising, falling. These are the main foundation ground to work. So you're coming back there quite often without having any involvement with the external words, external noises. Yeah. In this, whenever we hear external noises, I normally use a few words. I think I have mentioned it already in the last session. Observe, acknowledge, note, and let it go. Yeah. Observe, acknowledge, note, and let it go. And this is again, today's acronym for stop as well. So you can use that as a way to deal with that distractions, and then just come back to the foundation ground that we are working on. Yeah, that's good. Continue practicing. Yeah. Who is going to say now? Hedja or Holja or Virapon? Are you here? Holja. Okay. Right. So I think they do not want to say anything. Okay. Right. So this is the practice, because you have experienced it now, and it will be in your thoughts, in consciousness. And every time when you come back, you all just need to think about it. It will come automatically without thinking it. Yeah. And this is how one should be practicing. And the more we practice, this becomes more and more relevant. And not only during the practice of a meditation, in our day-to-day life, we also will become conscious about things, that whatever you are doing at that time, when other problems or other distractions comes, at that time you become aware of that, but you will not be having any engagement with that at all. So in the teachings, it says that see only see, hear only hear. See, only see. Hear, only hear. You are not seeing object. You are not seeing the shape, the color, but you are just seeing the way it is. Because the very moment when we recognize that into object or a color, that's a conception, yeah? As a concept. And we take that concept into identity, and from that identity, we defined it into liking, disliking, pleasure, unpleasant. Yeah? So, but very moment when we see that as they are, just the seeing, then we see that beyond the condition of this concept. Same with the hearing. Hearing the sound is just the hearing, and that's why we call it listening. Yeah, and rather than listening, just the hearing. When we listen the voice, we already conceptualized it. We already defined it, what it is. We have identified it. And the sound, the word, like someone who never knew the other language, and someone speaks in that language, that doesn't make any sense to you. Even they are shouting or angrily telling you off, you will be laughing because you don't know. Because that time you haven't conceptualized that voice, that noise into the word. Although you listen that, but you're just simply hearing that. You haven't conceptualized that. As a result, doesn't make any difference. Like in Thai language, if like Janine or Emma doesn't know Thai language, and someone is shouting at you, you will not understand. You will be simply laughing. What a beautiful language is this? Because we can't make it into concept, and we haven't identified it. So practice of a meditation is like that. So we simply listen, hearing that, the words or the voices as just the hearing, rather than listening. He is saying to me this one. She is saying to this, which I am not. So we go on telling the stories, and we just pollute ourselves, and we annoy it. We become sad. But whereas if we just hear as hearing, then those noises will not make any difference at all. It's just the one kind of a frequency coming to hit my ear. That's all. And with this, we can keep away from all the troubles. And that's why I normally hold this sentence at all the time in me. No one can make me angry without my permission. And doesn't matter who does what, who says what. As long as I am controlled by myself, I can control all these words and effects. No one can make me angry. As soon as something happens that affects my body, my mind, and the chemical change takes place in me, I watch that chemical change inside me rather than thinking about that person, thinking about that person's words. But rather I watch the feelings in myself. The chemical change takes place, the breath change, the heats up, shakes. And calmly I watch that, become mindful of that, and then ability to overcome. So that's why no one can make me angry without my permission. And that is simply, as you progress in your practice, you will be able to see that in two different ways, that seeing is just the seeing. Hearing is just the hearing. Not me, not them. There is no I, there is no mine. There is no I in the seeing, there is no I in the hearing. All is just the hearing and all just seeing. And with that, we can remain ourselves perfectly in equanimous, happy, and nothing can make that into the garbage. All the time is a compost. And they become a good friend to help me to grow my practice. If they do not make me these chemical change in my mind and my body, I do not know that I have to develop more. If they are not there, I may be taking myself as enlightened one. Oh, you're good. So they are simply a good friend making me stronger, realizing that there are much more things to be done. Okay, so this is me. And anyone has got anything to ask or anything to add on? Otherwise, we will do a short meditation to finish off. Anyone has got any question?
Just curious, I'm just thinking, instead of just watching, the mind thinking, and we should not engage or involve, right? But sometimes I'm also thinking, is it better to really, let the mind think? I mean, maybe if they think about one subject, let them think, until they find the solution. Maybe it's even better than, I stop it in the middle and then bring it back, and then the mind change to another subject again. And all the subject has no solution yet. So maybe it's better if I just, watch the mind thinking on only one subject until it finds its solution. Let's say if I'm thinking about work or worry about work, right? So let follow the mind until it finds solution.
Yeah, well, that is another level. Okay, and that it's called analytical understanding. Okay? Once this is the initial stage that we are talking, and then later, as you become very stable and your mindfulness, or you become very mindful on that, and later on you can analyze it. It's called yoni somanasikara. Yeah, so wisely reflecting on the subjects that you come across. In that wisely reflecting, you will be applying reasons, you will be applying causes, and how it affects. And this, again, when you are reflecting on that, you are not adding what you want, what you dislike. You will be analyzing purely, being objective, objectively looking at that problem, and you're analyzing with that. So that's called a wisely reflecting. Yeah. So yoni somanasikara, or it is also known as the Dhamma Vichaya. Okay. So analyzing it wisely, it's a cause and effects and the solutions. In that, you are not analyzing or finding a cause and a success because you want it. You're not adding any inputs of your pleasure or dislikes, but purely the Dhamma, the reality of it is as they are. So that is, in order to have that sort of analytical practice, first of all, we have to withdraw ourselves from I-ness and my-ness. So I-making and my-making. And as long as we have got this I-making and my-making, the thinking process to find the solution always subject to our desire. And whenever this is our desire, then it's not the true reality. That's not the truth. That's only for the personal benefit rather than the reality itself.
Yeah, indeed, which is normal, right? We are the human, when we think about one problem, we think about our perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, as a householder, it is common. Yeah, as a householder, is common. As a family member, it is very common that you have to think in that way. But the very moment when you realize that this is not the thing that should be doing for selfish reasons, but should be understanding the way things are in a universal term, then you will be not thinking in that way, putting yourself as a priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not in that state yet, because maybe I'm not discovering the Dhamma yet. So I should not let, my mind follow that problem from my perspective, no? So maybe
Well, at least you know, when you have the thoughts, those perspectives, and just know that, and then checking that whether am I thinking too much because of my own benefit, or is it just to solve the problem? Yeah, like that. Okay.
I think sometimes it's difficult to see the difference.
But we have to withdraw ourselves from this I making and my making. As long as there is I making and a my making and a personal benefit, and it's very difficult to differentiate.
I was in a meditation class once where they said you have to observe your thoughts like if you were watching fishes, and they always say that the fishes are becoming slower with practice, and as a matter of fact I have more the impression that they are becoming smaller. Like in the beginning you have just some big fishes that are taking them with you, and after a while you just have from time to time, or it depends, of course it depends on yourself, on your face, where you with it at the moment, but sometimes just a quick small fish that runs through. But sometimes when I have such a big whale that is dragging me with himself, and then I have the solution for a problem, and well, at least that is done.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good analogy. Right. Okay. So let's practice, and then we'll finish for today. Okay. So sadly today I'm unable to record on my computer, so this will not be on a YouTube. This is only will be on a Facebook. And as you have seen, my computer is shut down, and I'm using this mobile phone at this time. Okay. Right. So let's practice, and with the bell. Okay. So bring your mind to the present moment awareness of the body. Body sitting comfortably. And this time you may imagine that you are sitting in front of the mirror, looking at your sitting body, and going through your body. And if there is any tension or any discomforts, just let them relax. And sit upright. And spend some time on the breath. Aware of incoming breath and outgoing breath. And consciously making a mental note of each breath that is coming in and going out. So breathing in, I understand that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I understand that I'm breathing out. or breathing in, the abdomen rises, mentally making a note that I understand this is rising. Breathing out, it falls, mentally making a note of it. I understand it is falling. Along with that, experiencing the entire body inflates and deflates. So breathing in and experiencing the entire body expands, and breathing out deflates. And remember, there is no interference with the process. Just watching, observing, and then relaxed. No tension in your brain, no tension in your eyes. And observing incoming breath and outgoing breath. Oftentimes, we tend to have a tension in our brain to watch the incoming and outgoing breath or the inflation of deflation of the body. So relax the tension in your brain and watch as they take place. And training your mind to be aware of different breaths, different rising, fallings. Each time when breathe in and breathe out, you'll experience a different incoming and different outgoing, rising and falling, different rising, fallings. So seeing as you experience it rather than thinking about it. So sensing, feeling, and realizing. So breathing in and breathing out. If your mind is distracted into the thoughts, into the stories, just remember the acronym STOP. Seeing it clearly that my mind is distracted. Take your time to be mindful of that and observing it objectively and patiently bring it back. Or simply observing that my mind is distracted, acknowledging that distracted mind and noting a distraction or distracted, and let go that distraction and bring it back to the moment of awareness of here and now. And training yourself to be mindful of the different aspects of elements, the stiffness, the hardness, the softness, the light and the heat and inflation as it comes in and goes out, inflation and deflation of the body, or the rising, falling of the abdomen. Now we will practice the loving kindness meditation. So bring your attention to be mindful of your entire body. A feeling, sensing, whatever sensations are there in your body, be mindful of that. The softness and heat, cold. And bring that attention to your hands and aware of sensations in your hand. Without moving your hands, just aware of any sensations. A softness, a hardness, a lightness, a tingling. Whatever sensations are there, be mindful of that. And bring that attention to your heart. Feel the beating heart. And if you can't feel the beating heart, physically smiling will connect you. So smile and you will feel the connection with your heart. And when you feel the connection with your heart, just generate the kindness and compassion to yourself. And allowing yourself to be happy, free from suffering, free from ill will, hostility, anxiety. Or you may say inwardly to yourself, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from hostility, may I be free from ill will, may I be free from anxieties, may I be able to maintain my well-being, may I be liberated, liberated. These words are not just the words. Remember, it's coming from your bottom of heart, a true wish towards yourself. Similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, starting from near dear one, or you may think of any particular person or thing to share this good thought, goodwill, loving kindness. So bring into your mind of that person, and with a good intention, sharing your good thoughts, wishing for good and well-being. May you be happy. May you be at peace. May you be free from suffering. May you be liberated. May you be free from troubles of body and mind. So similarly, extending that to our near dear ones, our parents, our husband or wife, our children, family, friends, relatives, and all other sentient beings, far and wide, visible and invisible beings around you, in the room, in the city, in the country, on earth, in the universe. Whatever beings there are, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be at peace. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from troubles of body and mind. May they be free from ill will. May they be free from hatred. May they be free from hostility. May they be free from anxiety. May they be free from troubles of body and mind. May they be able to maintain their well-being and happiness. May they be safe and free from all the dangers. May all beings be happy. Now bring your awareness back to your hands, aware of sensations in your hands, and to your body, aware of sensations in your body, and to your eyes. Observe any tension in your eyes. And as you hear the gong, and the third gong slowly coming out from meditation, and reflect for a few moments. Okay, so thank you everyone. We have about 10 minutes left. If you have any questions, then you can ask. Or if you have anything that you want to share, then again, you're most welcome before we end today. Okay, so sounds everybody enlightened. No one wants to talk. All right then. So wish you all the best. Yeah, wish you have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Unless you have anything to share. Warafan, do you have anything to say before we end?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
ขอบคุณครับอาจารย์ It was really good. Was really nice. It's like the exercise you said, right? So I think once a month is too less. I think we need to find time to do more exercise.
Okay, good. If you pay for the instructor once a week, you have to pay a lot. But if you want to pay only once a month, then less. But throughout this time of 1 month, you have to practice by yourself. Yeah. So continue practicing. Yeah. Even just for 1 month, and if you can practice regularly and we can come up and meet together, then that's fine. And the sharing, especially the sharing, is very important. So you know that where you are at, and we know what to be done. I can again guide you through there. If you do not share, then I do not know where you are at in the practice. Although I say that you have to pay a lot for the instructor, doesn't mean that I'm going to charge you, okay?
You should.
Right. Okay, then. So thank you, everyone. And hopefully we'll see you next time soon. Okay? Until then, good Bye and have a good day and a good weekend. Take
ขอบ
care.
คุณครับ
Bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Ajahn.
Thank you.